Subscribe to Echo Tales for more gripping stories that delve into the depths of human nature and revenge. Her laugh, a sharp, brittle sound, carved its way through the convivial hum of the office party, silencing every clinking glass midair. "I'd rather kiss my dog than kiss you," she declared, her voice carrying across the opulent room, loud enough to ensure every colleague, every friend, even the bemused bartender heard the barb. Laughter erupted, a tidal wave of mirth that crashed over me, leaving me stranded, hands still awkwardly around her waist, the bass thump of the music under my ribs like a cruel countdown. I offered a smile, a calm, almost serene curve of my lips, the kind that only fueled their amusement, cementing their belief in my weakness, my inability to retaliate. But they were oblivious. The silence wasn't weakness, it was meticulous calculation. By the time the music timidly resumed, my intricate dance of retribution had already begun. Before that night, I genuinely believed we were an invincible team. I'd met her in grad school, a whirlwind of witty banter and philosophical quotes, the fearless girl who would playfully steal fries from my plate. Together, we had built everything: a home, a thriving business, a shared life that felt utterly unbreakable. Or so I had fiercely convinced myself. Somewhere along the winding path of our journey, her jokes had sharpened, her eyes had grown colder, more distant. She stopped living and started performing. Every dinner became a stage, every laugh a carefully rehearsed act. And I, her devoted husband, was always the unwitting punchline. Yet, I remained quiet, observant, a silent sentinel, for I understood a fundamental truth. The longer someone indulges in cruelty, the more they unwittingly expose the very fears and insecurities they desperately try to conceal. The first undeniable crack in our facade wasn't a dramatic revelation. It was the subtle, lingering scent of her perfume on my assistant's jacket. He dismissed it with a hurried explanation, claiming she'd hugged him at a dinner I supposedly forgot about. I didn't argue. I simply nodded, the gears of suspicion already whirring. Then came the late-night texts, casual dismissals. "The girls and I are out again!" Except she forgot to disable the location tag, which glaringly read, "Downtown Hotel." No confrontation, no furious shouting matches, just relentless, precise observation. Anger, I knew, blurred the lines of precision, and I needed absolute clarity. That night, I sat in the hushed darkness of my office, watching the reflection of our wedding photo in the window. Her radiant smile, even in memory, now looked hauntingly fake. I whispered to myself, a vow echoing in the quiet room. I won't confront, I will plan. My first move? Financial control. The boutique marketing firm she co-owned with me ran on accounts that I meticulously managed. I began, quietly and legally, rerouting her expense reimbursements into a discreet holding company under my sole name. Invisible. My second move, information. I hired a forensic IT consultant. Within a week, her entire digital life lay bare before me. Every flirtatious message, every meticulously crafted lie, every mocking voice note about me, transcribed and cataloged. My third move, social optics. Her upcoming Women in Business Gala, an event where she was slated to receive an award for empowerment through partnership. The irony, I mused, was deliciously potent. I made certain the event sponsor list prominently featured her favorite, notoriously gossipy columnist. My fourth move, timing. Our anniversary, a day she expected a romantic surprise, fell precisely 3 days after the gala. She had no idea I had orchestrated not a celebration of love, but the methodical dismantling of her world. At the gala, she sparkled, radiant in a silver dress, the very dress a sharp twist of the knife she had worn the night she first cheated. I stood stoically beside her, hand in my pocket, my smile unwavering. Her acceptance speech was flawless, a polished monologue about mutual respect, trust, and the delicate art of building love and leadership. Cameras flashed, applause rippled through the room. Then, the host announced, and now a special tribute video prepared by her devoted husband. The room dimmed, bathed in a soft, anticipatory glow. Her triumphant smile froze, a mask of brittle porcelain. The projector flickered to life, displaying not a montage of our shared life, but a meticulously curated slideshow of her illicit messages, her voice undeniably hers, laughing about how easy he is to manipulate, her intimate photos with my assistant, her private, cruel jokes about upgrading.
The audience gasped, a collective intake of breath. One of her closest friends, her face pale, dropped her champagne glass with a sharp, clattering sound. And then, the final devastating frame, a legal document. Effective immediately. Removal of partner rights and ownership from SNL Marketing, per Clause 14B, breach of trust. Signed. Dated by me. She spun towards me, her eyes wide with shock and horror, her body trembling uncontrollably. I simply leaned closer, my voice a low, chilling whisper. Consider this the kiss you didn't want. The silence that followed was cinematic, profound. Only the soft hum of the projector fan dared to break the stillness, punctuated by the ragged gasp of her breath. Then, inexplicably, the applause began. Not for her, not for her achievements, but for the sheer spectacle, for a raw public act of justice. She tried to speak, to articulate some defense, but words utterly failed her. My assistant, her unwitting co-star in this sordid drama, slipped out through a discreet side door, vanishing like a ghost. She looked at me one last time, perhaps searching for a flicker of mercy. But mercy is a gift, and I had already squandered years showering her with undeserved grace. I walked out before the lights had a chance to fully return, leaving her to stand alone amidst the meticulously constructed ruins of her own making. That night, I didn't go home. Home was merely a structure now haunted by ghosts. Instead, I drove to the quiet lake we used to frequent before we were married, a place of innocent memories. I parked the car, rolled down the window, and simply listened to the serene hum of the night. It wasn't joy I felt. It was a profound, liberating peace, the kind of peace that settles deep within you when a crushing weight, carried for far too long, finally drops, leaving a vast, echoing silence where the cacophony of noise once reigned. She called twice, then again. I didn't answer, because sometimes silence is the loudest, most devastating confession. She had craved attention. I had delivered consequences. And as I watched the moon's silvery reflection shimmer across the dark water, I whispered the final, inescapable truth, the one she would never truly comprehend. Love dies loudly, but respect dies in an unforgiving silence.